Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
This is
The story of a girl cried a river, drowned the whole world.
I was like, this is this month, but this isn't a month, but we're out of October.
It's November. Is it no theme?
No theme.
No theme.
Yeah, it's
November.
no theme November.
November.
Yeah.
That's it, baby.
Yeah, it's welcome to November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to answer these questions?
We put the no in no theme November.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
That's right, baby.
Speaking of listeners like you, we have a review.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. Easy.
I'm horny.
I don't. You saying that so bluntly on Ghostfacers is the most. I was like, is this harassment? It was like all the things we've said on our podcasts, and that moment I was like,
this is the worst.
I was like, I think this is
cancelable.
crime.
Yeah.
This is like bad. Yeah. You just being like, I'm horny today. And I was like, I don't know, man.
Name why that's a problem. I'm not asking anybody to do anything.
I think it's fine for all of us to know it. Yeah. I don't think it's fine to say it.
Yeah, just by my general demeanor, you can get.
I mean, we know.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't, and now I am, and it's your problem. I mean, that's the crime. That's the crime.
The crime is that it's my problem.
No, well, me saying it's someone's problem. You could say you're horny. You're not allowed to tell people that it's their problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't say you're horny.
You could say it anyway.
I don't think so, man.
You could theoretically walk in anywhere and say, I'm feeling murdery.
Dashwell, turn off the podcast.
You could be like, I'm
bringing
feeling
that bit back.
I'm feeling like murdery. And it doesn't mean you're going to do anything about
Glad you chose murder. Sure am glad that's what happened. Hey, what's the review?
It's not going to be any better for my brother.
Uh-oh. It starts with, sometimes you can feel murdery.
We're on the same wavelength. No, this is a 5-star review number 202 from Google review of Glenfield Fish Creek Provincial Park.
I have no idea where that is.
In Calgary.
I guess it's in Glenfield.
Yeah. Well,
near Fish Creek.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I'm assuming it's Calgary because it's where my brother lives.
Right.
And he writes, only thing that would make this park better would be loudspeakers playing the Dr. DC 5-star Canadian podcast, award-winning podcast 24/7, 365. Wearing headphones takes away from the experience of the park, and a loudspeaker would fix that.
I mean, that's kind of an exceptional review. I love the headphones take away from the experience of the park. A loudspeaker would fix that. It's such a hilarious take. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Great review.
Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, thank you.
So we saw the movie.
We saw the movie, and if you want to hear our thoughts on that,
I didn't delete that, so you can listen to it on our podcast.
I don't want to talk. That was also the other podcast. I know I've taken some shit for the shoddy producing when I have to make an episode happen.
The producing as well. It's the archiving that's the problem.
That's part of producing.
Yeah.
But like you fully deleted the Halloween special for Ghostfacers.
It's the only thing I've ever
and did not read the book for us to record a Halloween special for Dr. DC.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
To be fair, you only gave me 2 days and a very busy time.
I frankly only ever give you 2 days, so it's always worked before.
Yeah, but what's changed?
Sometimes I only give you 1 day.
What's changed?
Nothing. You got all that free time.
I'm both off work and on work.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like quantum working. Yeah,
it's Schrodinger's work.
Yeah. But yeah, we saw the movie. We're thinking about it. We're talking about it.
We're talking about Black Adam.
It's all about Black Adam, baby.
Yeah.
Teth-Adam. The man in black. Tell him who sent you.
Tell him about man.
Yeah.
Great joke.
Yeah, baby.
So we got a bunch of questions about those.
And the hierarchy of these questions is about to change. It won't. We're probably still going to do them. We'll do the platforms. If I was smart, I would have put them out of order and said the hierarchy of question platforms is about to change.
Well, it is, because we're starting in DocScored.
What? Oh, did you? Okay, just tell me right off the bat, is that because you also thought of this bit?
Yes, of course.
I love you so much, man. I don't think I say it enough. I fucking love you, man. You bring so much light into my life.
This is what I'm here for.
Holy shit.
Well, answer the fucking question.
Oh, fuck. Okay, sorry. DocScored.
Sing a song. I like when you're just like, hope brain work.
If I just open my mouth, the brain will do something.
Yeah, the mouth will do the rest.
Yeah, ladies. Have I done Daddy Don't Know? Doxy's
No.
getting scored at the Scorty Doc.
No. You sing it.
Okay. Mommy don't dox, Daddy's getting scored at the Scorty Doc. Doing something Doc Scorty.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I've been really listening to just Midnights constantly, but
Oh, yeah. Great.
so good.
Yeah. Hey, it's me. I'm the Doc Scored. It's me.
No, it's it's hey, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm the DocScored.
Yeah.
All right. First question comes from Ryan the Prime, who
All right.
asks, do you feel Black Adam works better as an anti-hero or a straight-up villain?
Ooh, interesting. I mean, your experience of Black Adam, I think, is mostly the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you've encountered him in stuff you've read.
No, I mean, it's interesting because even the like Shazam stuff that I've read, he's not really been a part of that.
Sure, yeah.
I don't really encounter him. I mean, he's largely just in his own books now, right? Like, he's not really involved as much with...
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying, I will say, the sort of the tumultuous quasi-redemption of Black Adam that was happening through the Justice League book leading up to Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
And he's in this interesting position in Dark Crisis where he still holds the belief that sometimes you got to kill a bad guy. Like he hasn't given that up, but he was trying to do things a better way. But then the Justice League dies and he's like, well, that was the hope. They're gone.
Yeah.
You young kids can't save the day. We got to do things my way. And then when he turns to like the Legion of Doom, they also let him down.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in the spot where he's like, does nothing work? And I do think there's something interesting about that. And I like the idea of him having the sort of like, I care about Kahndaq. And if it benefits Kahndaq, I will do it, even if it's grim.
Yeah.
And I think I like that angle for him. It allows some opportunity for some heroism. You can keep the kind of like the edge on him. I think it starts to waver for me a bit as him as like a global hero. It's happened a couple of times. He was on the JSA. He's tried it. And I don't think I'm against it, but I think there's always kind of a point where like the anti-hero thing, even though it's a distinction in and of itself, and maybe you can count on Black Adam to help when it's like a big good versus evil sort of thing. I do think there's like a limit to how far he can go there, because ultimately I think he just believes in the way he does things, and maybe the stuff that gets preached to him is like a little more second chances, like blah blah blah. But at a certain point, if someone is objectively evil, Deathstroke or someone like that, he's just like, we should kill him.
Yeah.
Like you'll never convince him otherwise. You might convince him like, this guy who committed one little crime, don't kill him.
Yeah.
But you'll never convince him the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people that threaten like his community
and constantly and who never reform and always, you'll never convince him that it wouldn't be better that they're dead. Yeah. And so I do think it's kind of built into how he's been written that like he should explore the heroic side of him, the lost potential of him being the champion of the wizard. And then something always pulls him back, and it's the thing that would have pulled him back in the first place. That ultimately the kind of power corrupts thing, and that he kind of sees himself as a god, and he feels comfortable doling out the judgment of life and death.
Yeah.
And I think because he feels comfortable with that, it'll always pull him back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess my answer to that is I do enjoy the anti-hero thing. I don't think he works as a mustache twirling villain, and now I will take over the world. But he might try to take over the world because he's like, none of you know what you're doing. The only secure planet is a planet I'm in charge of. But in his brain, that's a sort of heroic, you know what I mean? Like that's.
All right. Next question comes from Trey Show.
Whoa, how shelf is that?
Trey.
Whoa.
Who asks, can Black Adam share his powers like Captain Marvel / Shazam?
He can, absolutely.
I mean, we saw that in the movie where he was transferred.
They don't do the full thing from Shazam where like multiple people have his powers at once. But yes, the power can be shared or transferred or whatever. But he can share powers. That's sort of inherent to the power of Shazam.
Yeah.
He has shared it in the past. In the New 52, part of his origin is that his son gets the powers first, and that's sort of adapted in the movie. No spoilers. I'm just talking comics here, but in the comics, he ultimately decides that his son is too heroic. It's this thing about like not believing in his method, and he kills his son and takes the full power for himself. But he's shared a portion of his power with in the modern day with Amon Tomaz, who became Osiris. He's given his power / shared it with Mary Marvel in the past. Yeah, he absolutely can share his powers. Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Lilith, who asks, what is the geographic location of Kahndaq? What is its place in the larger geopolitics of Prime Earth?
Just one tag on the previous question. I forgot to talk about there's a current Black Adam series that's happening where he's kind of transferred his power, or shared his power rather, with like a descendant of his, technically, like from all the vast reaches of time. There are descendants of his that are alive in the modern day.
Sure.
And so he's shared a portion of his power with
dope.
Yeah. Right. So
where is Kahndaq?
Kahndaq.
Like it's like a Middle Eastern country. Right?
So here's, DC and Marvel both do this, and I totally get why. But they're so good at being like not subtle about where a thing is meant to be.
I hope that it's in the location of Israel.
So Kahndaq is in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But it's close to Israel.
It's neither Israel or Palestine. It's Kahndaq.
No, I mean, it's not like the one state solution. That's not Kahndaq. I think it is meant to be relatively like on the Sinai, though. Like it's supposed to be like right around there, like adjacent to Egypt, because that's why there's this sort of blurring of like the ancient Egypt thing with like Prince Khufu and Nabu and stuff like that, and Kahndaq, right? Kahndaq is meant to basically be there. When they use a Q, they go like Middle East. Kahndaq, yes. Korak is meant to be, like Iraq, essentially. Vlatava is obviously meant to be like in Eastern Europe, like a Slavic country. Like they do that all the time. Markovia, like the sound of the nation usually tells you all you need to know. So Kahndaq is Egypt adjacent in the Middle East. Its place in the larger geopolitics is interesting because Kahndaq is like a relatively like, other than when Black Adam is like, I'm in charge and fuck you guys, Kahndaq is relatively contained, I would argue. Usually a lot of kind of like dictatorships and things like that. I think its bigger place is like historically, they blur the lines between like the history of ancient Egypt and then Kahndaq a lot in DC. Okay. DC has to always do this thing because the real things exist alongside the fake things, right? So it's not that the history of ancient Egypt as we know it didn't happen. It's that Kahndaq as an empire is also kind of overlaps with Egypt as an empire, and sometimes you're meant to assume they were kind of one, or sometimes like it was called Kahndaq, or like there's a sort of blurring of lines with that kind of history a little bit, and so Kahndaq has this kind of like historical importance and significance, and then I mean its importance geopolitically in the modern day hinges 100% on Black Adam.
Okay.
When he comes in, it becomes like volatile, or like, like a kind of like unknown quantity. During Doomsday Clock, he was like, any metahumans, you can come live in Kahndaq, and we'll protect you.
It's kind of like the with X-Men and like the island, and
I mean a little, yeah. It's not a nation of metahumans, but there are elements of that sort of thing. It's become a sort of powerful unknown quantity when Black Adam is in the mix. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next question from the marvelous Ryan, who asks, has Black Adam always been a child killer to get the power, or was that a New 52 retcon?
It was a New 52 retcon. So that story of his son Aman getting the power, and then him killing him and taking all the power. Because basically, like, Teth-Adam is wounded. This is the New 52 origin.
Yeah.
Teth-Adam is wounded. Aman is chosen by the wizard, and he says, I'll do it if you'll heal my dad. And the wizard goes, you can share your power. The wizard's like, fuck, I shouldn't have told him.
Yeah.
He gives it to Aman. Aman shares it with him, and then Aman is more heroic, and he wants to kind of be a symbol of hope, like a very kind of Captain Marvel, Superman sort of thing. And Black Adam is like, who goes by I think the Mighty Adam, goes like, no, that doesn't work, and eventually kills his son, takes the power, and becomes Black Adam. He kills the other wizards of the Council of Eternity, which wasn't a thing before the New 52. There was just the wizard at the Rock of Eternity. But he kills all the other wizards. The wizard Shazam manages to kind of trap him / banish him in a sort of like lazily combined version of his origin. The original one, he is chosen, and he's like a prince. He's like a Egyptian / Kahndaqi like prince who gets given the powers, and the powers just corrupt him.
Yeah.
And that's just what, he gets the power and he starts doing good, and then he goes like, I kind of am a god. And then it just corrupts him. The wizard chose wrong. The New 52 one is like, no, the wizard didn't choose wrong, but you got to be careful who you share it with, which I'm not sure if that's as good of a moral.
I loved what they did with the movie.
I agree, actually. It's kind of a nice
in between. Yeah, where it's like, hey, somebody was chosen perfectly, and then it's like things happen. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a nice in between of those two things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but essentially, the child killer thing is a New 52 retcon.
Okay.
Because in the original thing, he's just given he is the one chosen by the wizard who gets the powers, and then they just corrupt him, and he becomes Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next from Jaffe, I'm assuming of the Alex variety.
Yeah.
Who asks, shouldn't a Middle Eastern actor be playing Black Adam?
I mean, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is Hollywood's next best thing, which is like,
his skin's not white.
Well, I mean, if it weren't for the fact that The Rock is constantly telling us that he's Hawaiian, The Rock kind of has that Hollywood thing of being like generically, what they would call, quote, generically ethnic, which is like a horrible thing to say. Jeez. But he'd go like, his skin's not white, and like he can pass as whatever we need him to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, cast him as Hercules. He looks Greekish. Cast him as, like, I there's that kind of thing that Hollywood does, which is bullshit, obviously. Yes. But yeah, I mean, everyone else in that movie is cast appropriately.
Yes.
Except for it's him. The Rock's project. He's Black Adam. But like in an ideal world where we're actually, casting by culture and things like that appropriately, yeah, you'd get a Middle Eastern actor to play him.
Yeah.
I don't know that I know, like off the top of my head, a Middle Eastern actor of the size to be kind of like a
Sure, but also like Zachary Levi wasn't big. Like
yeah, but I just mean like I don't even know that I can name someone Zachary Levi size, which
But
is maybe
Zachary
a
Levi-
bigger issue with casting in Hollywood.
Zachary Levi
and stuff
also
like
just
that.
got big.
No, I agree, but even at the size he got, I don't think I can name like I have no. I'm probably speaking to a bigger problem of like representation and stuff in
You know
Hollywood.
who it should be?
Who?
The guy from the Mummy.
Oded Fair.
Yeah.
I was thinking him too, but he's just a little too. I mean, in an ideal world, he'd be Dr. Fate because he already was in the animated series, and he's so fucking good. But yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. Short version is yes, of course, a Middle Eastern actor should be playing Black Adam.
All right.
But I will say, I'm as much as you could pick it out, I'm kind of grateful that The Rock doesn't attempt an accent.
Yes.
Do you know? No, I know exactly who it should be, but the movie has to be made in the late 90s. It should be fucking Arnold Vosloo. It should be the guy that played Imhotep in The Mummy.
Oh.
Actually, I'm not even sure if he's Middle Eastern, but it really should be. Actually, I don't think he is, but it should be
He's
Arnold
definitely
Vosloo.
not, yeah.
He's definitely not, yeah. But he's so good as Imhotep. Fuck, I'm the problem. Shit.
Should be Dave Mirage. Black Adam!
I don't think I've ever talked about this, but my wife and I, from our theater circles, are friends with a guy who in Ontario is, he's a guy that works with theater companies at a sort of regional level. He's not known. He's just, he's a very talented performer.
Yeah.
But he's
not a named actor.
He's not a named actor or whatever. But back in Lebanon, he's a soap star.
Oh, really?
And so anytime he goes back there, or like if they tour a show there, he gets mobbed in the streets.
Really?
He's so fucking famous there. His name is Badi Abu Shakra. Great guy, but we just know him. But he's super famous in Lebanon to the point that we watched a full season of Lebanese Dancing with the Stars that he was on.
What?
And he won, and it was like huge. And
wow.
And a person that we know from Lebanon, I was like, oh, this person, she like talked to her mom, and her mom was like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the guy's like super famous over there.
That's so funny.
Anyway, I thought of that, but
great. All right, let's go to the next question from Cactuar David.
Yeah.
Who asks, both Black Adam and Shazam are playable in the Injustice games, and I hear there was a long-running comic book series explaining the backstory of those. Does Black Adam play a role in the Injustice comics? Did he have a reaction to Superman executing Shazam?
Right. So the first Injustice is where you see it's been 5 years, this regime is set up, and Shazam is part of it.
Yeah.
He sides with Superman and the regime, and the wizard must be being like, fuck, 0 for 2.
Yeah.
I've read a bunch of the Injustice comics. I don't remember everything that happens in them. But the Injustice comics kind of just cover the 5 years that lead up to the game. But in the game is when Superman executes Shazam. Because Shazam in the game, Superman's like, we're going to raise Metropolis to the ground. We'll teach these people a fucking lesson. And Shazam's like, I signed up to kill some people to keep peace, but that's not what this is.
Yeah.
This is this bad. And he tries to, he's going to stand up to Superman. He tries to call down the lightning to attack Superman, and Superman freeze breaths his mouth shut, and it just burns a hole through his skull. You see it in the back of the
We watched
cloak.
it together.
And when that happened, I was like, did they just holy shit? But then the next series kind of picks up in the interim, but you don't really see the immediate aftermath of that moment because that's just in the game.
Yeah.
At least as far as I remember. There might be a flashback or something. I don't remember. I have to imagine that if there is an interaction, there's probably some version of Black Adam being like, see, Billy, thank you for finally recognizing.
Oh, Billy.
That this is the way to peace. This is the way to order. The wizard couldn't understand. Now you understand. Now you get me. He probably is very warm to Billy that way. As for Superman killing him, I bet Black Adam is it's a shame, but he turned from
Yeah.
path, because Black Adam is unrepentant, and when you pick up in the second game, he's harboring Wonder Woman and stuff like that in Kahndaq, and he's like, no, we were doing the right thing. When we get the chance, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
He's completely unrepentant, so I can't imagine he'd be shedding particular tears over Billy's death.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Crimson Raven, who asks, does Black Adam interact with different villains, or does he think himself above them?
I mean, he has. You know, we talked about it a few weeks ago. He's even been on the Monster Society of Evil before. Mr. Mind's team of like sort of weird Captain Marvel villains. He's been during Infinite Crisis. He's part of the Secret Society of Supervillains. He participates in the Battle of Metropolis. His motivation there is security for Kahndaq, as he believes he's being manipulated and used by Alexander Luthor Jr. He actually kidnaps Black Adam and puts him on the anti-monitor tower so he can attune the old Earth S, Earth 5, the old Fawcett Comics universe. It's all very canonical. But he does join up, you know. In Dark Crisis, when he loses faith in the new Justice League, he goes to the Legion of Doom. Like, he will, but it's almost always... It's not his first choice. I would say. I think Black Adam he trusts his own judgment. I think he generally doesn't appreciate the help or interaction from others. He has teamed up, of course, but it's almost always because he just needs something from them, and that's the condition on which he'll get it.
Yeah.
You know? I think he does see himself as above people. I mean...
Because I don't think he's trying to do evil. I think he's just...
I mean,
in the way that like a lot of DC villains are like, we are doing evil.
Totally. I know what you're saying. I mean, and certainly as time goes on, there's more and more of that anti-hero thing, less and less of the just evil thing. But even his evil is pretty contained to just, I should be the only one with the powers of Shazam.
Yeah.
It's very seldom like and I'll use the moon ray.
Yeah,
there's never any bullshit like that or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that if you look historically at the times that he has teamed up with other villains, he's almost always used or double-crossed. His team up with Felix Faust in his own series, Faust is using him and he's double-crossed. His team up with the Secret Society, he's used and double-crossed.
Sure.
I think him... in the Shazam series where they have the 7 magic lands, he gets double-crossed by Mind and Savannah.
Who wrote that?
Jeff Johns. I think there is kind of like a history of him getting dicked over by team-ups.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of it's probably a sore subject for him.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. We are leaving the Discord and heading it over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
The hierarchy of power in the questions we're reading
has changed.
That's right, baby.
Tell them the man in ill-fitting jeans sent you.
First question comes from the Little Pasty, who asks, or Little Pasty?
Oh, just a little pasty?
Yeah, it's just a couple pasties.
Oh.
Is it pasty or pasty?
I mean, it's impossible to know. They're spelled the same. Unless pasty is spelled I-E, but I don't think that's true.
If you're talking about like British pasties,
like a Cornish pasty.
Probably I-E, I think. Maybe.
Is it?
No way to find out.
We may never know.
They ask who...
My only regret was never knowing if it was pasty. It's me on my deathbed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rosebud.
Yeah, that's my rosebud. Pasty or pasty?
It's actually pasty.
Oh, shit. Pasty.
They ask, who is included in the Black Marvel family?
Yeah, this is sort of like an unofficial title. You know, the Captain Marvel family obviously includes Captain Marvel Jr., Mary Marvel, and Uncle Dudley, and Taki Tani, and the Lieutenant Marvels, and et cetera, et cetera.
It's not Black Panther and
no. go on. Name one other Black Marvel character.
Killmonger.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, you said Black Panther, and then I cut you up, but I want to see where this goes.
The original Captain America.
Lawrence Fishburne from the second Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I know plenty of Marvel characters that are black.
Luke Cage.
Some of my best Marvel characters are black.
I mean, that's true, but you didn't say Miles Morales. All of that, no
My
Miles.
favorite one, too.
Yeah. But the Black Marvel family is sort of an unofficial title given to the group with which Black Adam shares some power, but mostly shares his trust and compassion in that, which is sort of in the like lead up to and post Infinite Crisis era. I guess it's mostly post, but it includes Adriana Tomaz, aka Isis. Well before anyone else appropriated that name.
I'd love to join her.
There's a reason they don't really call her Isis on Legends.
Yeah, I mean, sure. They have.
Yeah. Don't worry, we've joined forces with ISIS.
We've returned power back to ISIS. The teens seem to love ISIS. Very popular on social media.
We're a pro-ISIS team, obviously. We stand ISIS. Just clip that out. Send it to the Canadian Podcast Awards.
Whatever. It's not gonna get there by Friday.
Yeah, via the internet. We're too far away.
No, they made their decision. Unless we don't win, and then thanks, guys. Now we know why we didn't win.
If we don't win, we're going to
Blame
release that clip and say they rewarded an ISIS supporting podcast last year.
We're going to sick ISIS on them.
Jesus,
don't give us the award.
Jesus Christ. So fucked up.
It's a character. What are they going to do? It's fine.
So she's one. Although she doesn't actually get Black Adam's powers. He convinces Captain Marvel, who at that time is sort of custodian of the Rock of Eternity, he convinces him to somehow channel the powers of the goddess Isis into Adriana. So she has different powers.
Yeah.
Similar, but they come from a different source, rather. He does share his power with her brother, Amon Tomaz, who becomes...
Come on, Tomas. Should not have been that funny.
Who becomes Osiris.
Okay.
Osiris has
Sweet shoes.
a crocodile buddy called Sobek.
Oh. That's so bad.
Yeah, some things are Sobek and others are no Beck at all.
Name one Beck song.
At one point, I'm a loser, baby.
There we go. God,
so why don't you dock scored?
That's so bad.
Shit. Should have saved that. Fuck.
Fuck.
He has shared his power with Mary Marvel, like I said.
Nice.
So I think that's sort of the rough construction of the Black Marvel family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Cursed Blub, who asks, can we get some context on Isis, please?
No, I think it's better without.
How did she and Adam meet and fall in love, or how did she die?
Grainy VHS tape. No,
American Infiltration.
You'll never see me coming. I just rewatched that the other day, and I was laughing so hard because I was just thinking of how long we had a Mandarin bit on this show.
A thing that's not DC.
You'll never see me coming. Some people call me a terrorist.
So funny.
Mr. President.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, it's Ben Kingsley doing Agent Smith.
Yeah. Who is doing an American accent because it's an Australian actor.
Yeah, there's a few layers to it. Yeah. And Ben Kingsley himself is playing a guy pretending to do it. Yeah.
It's fucking layers.
Yeah, who says the MCU doesn't have layers?
Yeah, it's fucking onions, baby.
Yeah. Some people. So the context on ISIS. Well, the character.
Yeah.
How did she meet? So I think it's during 52. Black Adam takes over Kahndaq, and Intergang sends like an envoy with like slaves for him and goes like, here are some slaves for you, Black Adam.
He's like, nice.
You feel great about slavery, which is not true.
Okay.
But they go, in exchange for these slaves, let us use Kahndaq for crime. And he kills them and frees her.
Sweet.
But instead of her just being this kind of like wet blanket thing, she's immediately like, what good are you actually doing for Kahndaq?
Wow.
Like, yeah, you sit on the throne, but like you can make things better. She kind of brings out the heroism in him.
Wow.
Which is not unlike the role Adriana plays in the movie. Different sort of set of circumstances, but
totally.
Certainly emotionally the same kind of role. Says, no, you could make this place better. And, she brings that out in him. They fall in love, and he goes to Captain Marvel, who, like, his old enemy, and goes, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. She's like, can we give her powers? And he's like, yeah, sure. Here, zap. And he, like, builds a family, and he starts being a hero and a champion for Kahndaq and like doing good, until she and Amon are killed, and he does not take it well.
Him?
Black Adam, like, famously in control of his temper.
Yeah.
But that's essentially it. It's so like Intergang kind of presents her as a slave, and Black Adam is like, you stupid fucks, and frees her, and then she's not just like, oh my god, thank you. She like pushes him to be better, to use his power in the way the wizard kind of intended, like to be a actual liberator, to make lives better, to protect Kahndaq, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Dope.
All right, let's go to the next.
In this case, clip this out, but ISIS is good.
we love ISIS.
ISIS has a lot of good ideas. Things are better when people listen to ISIS.
Yeah, exactly. Kids.
Don't clip any of this out.
No. Next question comes from That D the Geek, who asks, can we talk about his first appearance and how he's changed since then?
It's interesting. He didn't appear all that much before DC like kind of absorbed Fawcett Comics. He first appears, I think it's in like what's it called, like Marvel Family Adventures #1 or something like that. It's a Fawcett Comics publication. It's from like 1940 or 41 or something. That's like he's an old character, and his origin there is more or less what his canon origin was, which was he was a prince. He gets the power slowly corrupts him, and then the wizard banishes him to like the farthest corner of the universe.
Sure.
And it essentially takes him as long from when that happened to the present day to fly back.
Wow.
Like, that's kind of his thing. When he returns, he's like, I've been flying nonstop for 5,000 years.
Wow.
To get back, which is pretty intense.
Yeah.
And it's such a cooler image than just like, he was like trapped in whatever prison, dimensional
I love
prison or
this.
something. And that was sort of his thing, but he was like the first champion. He was the fallen champion. All of that stuff is intact, basically. He was like a villain, but it was basically those fundamental kind of core things didn't really change particularly. But he only appeared a few times. He's in the Monster Society of Evil, I'm pretty sure. He's in that arc that we talked about. He would show up in that, and then he'd start showing up more in like the 70s and 80s when DC was really more absorbing Fawcett Comics and stuff. And then I feel like he kind of really hit like probably in the 90s, 2000s. It's probably like the prevalence of Black Adam as a character in the DC universe is not much more than like 25 years old, I'd say. It's not that he wasn't there, but like him being important in any way or meaningful as a character, or like a character where you're always like, but where is he during this?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last like 25 years, truly.
Yeah.
And certainly like Infinite Crisis onward. That's all of the more complex Black Adam that we know now.
Totally.
There's the JSA stuff that leads up to it, but we're really talking like mid 2000s onward is sort of the thing that like sets up what we understand, all the framework of what the movie uses, this idea of like a more kind of conflicted and like the champion of Kahndaq. All of these pieces are relatively recent.
Yeah.
Because other than that, he was sort of just like, he was just like the one that went bad.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. You know?
Sure. All right, next question comes from Jack Stonewall.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, that wasn't a good drop.
Oh, God.
Sorry, that's the word that does it for me. That and ISIS.
Well, Jack Stonewall has to ask, what was Black Adam's body count during World War III?
Oh,
he fucked so many bitches.
Oh, this guy pulls. Yeah, what's your body count, Black Adam? He's like, a gentleman doesn't tell.
I'm a bad boy.
Let's just say I'm over 5,000 years old.
Let's say they don't call me.
Let's just say my nickname is Shazam.
I'm not White Adam.
What is that? Oh, no. I don't... Wait, hang on. No, I actually don't want this explained.
Jim, like, do you want me to explain?
No, I'm all right.
He hangs dong.
I see.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, okay.
Do you know why?
Can we talk about ISIS?
Yeah, this is getting too offensive.
I don't like this. Let's talk about ISIS.
It's not racist if it's complimentary.
World War III kind of happens because ISIS and Osiris are killed.
Sure.
Turns out that Osiris's buddy Sobek, the crocodile friend, he was actually Nobek.
Whoa,
he's actually one of the
Beck.
four horsemen. He was Famine. And he sort of convinces Osiris that he convinces him to like say the magic word and turn back into his mortal form. And he does it because Osiris is sort of like, he spent some time with the Teen Titans and then he's like not sure if like he's cut out for the power or if it, you know, whatever. And Sobek preys on that, convinces him to go mortal.
Yeah.
He does, and then Sobek fucking eats him.
Wow.
And kills him because he's actually Famine. He's the Famine horseman. Isis is also killed, and Black Adam is understandably upset. For some reason that I can't fully remember, this the Four Horsemen were like an Oolong Island experiment, but for some reason I can't remember, the Middle Eastern country of Bialia is implicated, and he raises it, all of it.
Wow.
He kills every man, woman, and child in the country.
Oh my god.
He renders the land inhospitable. Like he erases Bialia.
Wow.
And it's like bad. And then he goes on a tear to get anyone who was implicated with the Four Horsemen, including Oolong Island, where they came from. And he believes that China propped up Oolong Island. So he like invades China. He fights the Great Ten.
Wow.
To the point where China, who like are always like, don't you dare cross our borders even to save us.
Yeah.
They always say that to the hero community.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, okay, you can come in.
That's
because Black Adam's like fucking their shit up.
Yeah.
And it's like it's bad, and he's like kicking the shit out of all the heroes. He's like unstoppable, until basically Billy gets Zatanna to craft a spell that will change his magic word, and I can't remember how they do it, but I think Billy calls down the lightning and then directs it at Black Adam. Changes him mortal, and the Zatanna casts a spell that changes the word of power. Wow. So he doesn't say Shazam, but he doesn't know what the word is. So they strip him of his power, and that's how they end World War III. But like nations fall to Black Adam.
Wow.
It's like millions of people die.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Nicest.
You've definitely made that joke before.
Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not the image I want to put out there.
For those who don't know, we're up for the award again this year. for the Canadian Podcast
I mean,
Awards.
I think people just assume.
But what might actually happen this year is that we might actually get a physical award.
I don't think we will, because apparently they're crazy expensive to make.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if we did, we should put it in a block of ice.
Holy shit. The Iceman Customs.
That's right. The Iceman Customs, who asks.
Maybe that'd be cheaper. We should get an award made of ice.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Ice is good.
Oh, I see. Uh-oh. I mean, that pun gives you more plausible deniability than I've got.
It's true. You just said ISIS.
Yeah, ISIS is good. Yeah.
I said ISIS is good.
Yeah. Huh.
Iceman Customs asks, talk about the friendship between Black Adam and Atom Smasher.
Yeah.
We got to see a soupçon of it in the movie.
I'm glad that you're using that word.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, truly, they really don't utilize that friendship in the movie that's in the comics. So there was this point, it's before Infinite Crisis, where Black Adam decides to kind of take a hero turn, and he joins the JSA, and he's a teammate of the Justice Society. And it's, it's a little rocky, but he's trying it. But he forms a kind of bond with Atom Smasher because Atom Smasher had essentially killed Exton. And the JSA didn't love that, that he killed a villain. And he was like, no, he hurt my family.
Yeah.
And he kind of had this thing. And Black Adam kind of goes like, I get it. And I think you did the right thing. And I think that's admirable.
Dope.
And so that kind of is like that starts their friendship, as Atom Smasher is like, oh, this guy doesn't hate me for this. He kind of gets me.
Yeah.
Okay. So at a certain point, they kind of have a falling out, but it's because Black Adam decides to go to Kahndaq and remove the dictator and take over.
Yeah.
But when he does that, Atom Smasher goes with him because he's like, we should be doing that.
Yeah.
And the JSA is like, we can't do that. And so Atom Smasher, kind of sensing the tension that the JSA has with him already and this connection with Black Adam, and sort of agreeing in principle, he goes and becomes part of this team that includes like Northwind and some other characters that Black Adam has sort of assembled into a bit of a super squad. And the JSA goes in because Hawkman is like, this can't stand, and Hawkman kind of takes over the JSA and brings them into Kahndaq, and it becomes this huge mess, and even Hawkman's like, oh, we shouldn't have done this. Uh-oh. But yeah, I mean, Atom Smasher is ultimately the one that kind of brokers the truce between the JSA and Black Adam. That Black Adam will stay in Kahndaq. You don't leave Kahndaq, and we'll leave you alone.
Yeah, like what the movie does,
essentially. Yeah. And that's more or less how that goes. But yeah, that friendship basically starts because Atom Smasher is kind of grappling with this, like, did I do the wrong thing? Didn't feel like the wrong thing. Yeah. And the JSA are like, yeah, you did. And Black Adam's like, you didn't. That's essentially where that friendship comes from.
Wow. And which is crazy because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, he probably did wrong then. Like,
well, yeah, Atom Smasher, every time he helps Black Adam, it involves some sort of like deception of the JSA.
Sure.
Like, he finds a piece of like ISIS's skeleton and like takes it and gives it to Black Adam without telling anyone. And he's like, I'm doing this for you because I should. It's the right thing to do. But he has to be very discreet about it. And like, it's, yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Delgado Andrew.
Ooh.
Who asks, I remember a rumor a while back that Hawkman was going to be a recurring foe for Black Adam throughout history in the movie. Has Black Adam ever been tied to other characters like that in his pre-modern backstory?
Yeah. I mean, so certainly once the Fawcett characters were rolled into DC, you start making this tie between like the Wizard Shazam, Nabu the Sorcerer, Prince Khufu and Princess Shaira, Octon and like the Orb of Ra, all of these things that are kind of connected. So you kind of like you cover the like Shazam corner of things, Dr. Fate, the Hawks, Metamorpho, like a bunch of characters with this, Blue Beetle, a bunch of characters with this Egypt connection sort of get basically all lumped together. So he does have a connection there. Now, because his punishment was alternately banished like across the universe or banished in some prison shit, there's a lot of period of time where he's not interacting.
Sure.
But they do a little retcon.
About 5,000 years.
They do a little retcon not too long ago that sometime around like 1100-ish, the Frost King is too big of a villain to be fought by Viking Prince, Hippolyta, and the Avatar, who is the Swamp Thing of that era. And they convince the wizard to sort of temporarily let Black Adam out.
Oh, interesting.
Because there's no champion between Black Adam and Billy.
Really? Because they were just searching the whole time.
Yeah. No one's good enough.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I fucked up before, and I'm going to be real fucking careful.
Yeah.
But they convince him to let Black Adam out to help them. They defeat the Frost King. Black Adam teams up with them. So he has a connection to Hippolyta. And to the Green, I guess, very tangentially. But at the end of it, then they all have to come together, basically, to fight Black Adam and force him back into his prison. And then essentially he doesn't get out again until... In the New 52, there's the versions of Adriana and Amon Tomaz are the ones that free him from his prison. So he's basically not out again. So essentially for Black Adam, your timeline is like, whatever, it's like 1500 years BCE kind of thing. Or actually longer ago. You're in sort of there. And then big gap, and then like Middle Ages, and then big gap, and then modern era.
Sure.
And that's kind of all you get. Yeah.
All right, next question comes from Ben For Stewart.
Ooh, lock the door if you're calling ISIS.
Just fully committing to this now.
Yep.
Ben asks, how do you think Adam does as a ruler of Kahndaq? Seems interesting that both DC and Marvel have supervillains that do despicable things in the name of protecting the citizens of their countries. Do you think Adam's actions are justified because of this?
I think Adam doesn't work as a ruler.
Sure.
Because he's a little too black and white about things.
Sure.
Listen, there are some things I wish that our governments and rulers were more black and white about. Mm-hmm. Just like, is it a human rights violation? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, stop fucking doing it.
We'll kill you.
Like end of, yeah, or yeah.
I could think of an organization that kind of does that.
I don't think we're at that point. But I think like the day-to-day of ruling, like I think this is true of any like monarch kind of thing. I think the day-to-day of ruling is like boring.
Sure.
And not their area of interest, which is not good and part of the argument to not have a monarch or something like that. But like, does Black Adam care about like taxation?
Probably
not really.
Yeah,
That's a bureaucrat's job.
Mm-hmm.
But does he even care about it? Not really. If someone was like, they're taxing us too much, he'd be like, no more taxes. And he'd be like, like, I don't think he's good at being like, well, we need to re-examine the calculations.
Yeah.
That's not really like in Black Adam's personality.
No, like, oh, can I kill the taxes?
Nothing like nothing sort of like methodical or like nuanced. And so I think ultimately he fails as a ruler just because he sees himself as a god, not a administrator.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's the ultimate failing for him as a ruler. Obviously strong leadership, and certainly as like a symbol, people rally around him like that shit for sure.
Works as a protector, yeah.
Yes, and I think that's a better fit for him, is like he's there in case the people ruling fuck up. Like he's the check and balance. Like they've got an executive branch, a legislative branch, a judicial branch, and God.
Yes.
And God is like, if any of you motherfuckers hurt these people.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of more interesting, better than him being the actual like ruler. Like, he's not like Diana or like Arthur, who like actually have the qualities of that kind of leadership. Yeah. I don't think Adam is suited to it.
I do want to know what like the line is though for him of like what is a threat,
right?
like a parking ticket that was like unjustified, and Adam's just like,
yeah, just like incinerates the bylaw officer. Yeah.
Like
from this day forward, Kahndaq is ticket free. Yeah. Just like, but that's what I picture when I picture him ruling. It's just like you can't have that approach to everything. You can have that approach to big things,
sure,
big kind of justice thing. No more slaves. Like great.
Yeah,
you do that.
Yeah,
but like the minutia of running a country. He can't give that to him.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, municipal services aren't really his thing.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Dan Hummer 97.
Yeah, give her the old Dan Hummer. Sorry, one more time. I hate that.
You won't.
Oh.
Dan asks, do you think Black Adam...
You'll never see me coming.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Nice.
I've never heard a defeated nice before.
You're welcome.
Nice.
That's what I'm here for. Nice.
Dan asks, do you think Black Adam is a good fit for the Justice League?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, Superman is the one that invites him. And he does it kind of because Green Arrow is like, how are we supposed to be a new kind of Justice League if it's all the same old fucking people here? And then Superman brings Black Adam, and he's like, you were right, Oliver. And Oliver's like, was I that right? There's kind of a, like, they're like, oh, shit. But it's sort of like a put your money where your mouth is thing for the Justice League to give a second chance. And Black Adam, I think, has been seeking it. And, there was this period of time right after Death Metal, and he sort of offered this chance, and Superman is like, we want to see the best of you and stuff. And Black Adam kind of rises to it. It's a little rocky. He goes like, we could kill them. They go, no, no.
Bad.
But then here's the thing. As soon as the Justice League is killed by Pariah's Dark Army, Black Adam was like, I did it their way, and Hope is dead. I respected them for that. They were the ones who had they were the greatest.
Yeah.
They could do that. You young heroes, where do you get off thinking Hope's going to save you? They were the greatest heroes, and they were cut down so easily. We're going to do things my way, or we're going to die.
Yeah.
And he's scared. Really, is the thing. And I think it's that it's the fear leads to anger kind of Sith thing, right, with Black Adam, and I do think that's part of it.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. It's been a neat mix having him there in the Justice League. I'd be curious to see what happens out of Dark Crisis. If he kind of learns his lesson, or if he goes, it's not for me. Like, I think that's the piece I'm waiting for, is to see what is the trajectory. Like, I like the exploration of it right now, but there's so much like vacillation between like being a hero and then not believing in it, and then being like, well, no, we got to fine, we'll try it.
Yeah.
And I think I need to see where it lands.
Yeah.
Either way, like as an artistic decision, and then see how I feel about it to see ultimately if I liked it as an experiment. Like, I liked Lex on the Justice League. I thought that was interesting, because you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it turned out there wasn't one, really. Yeah. It was just that ultimately something spoke to Lex of a higher power and just convinced him he was on the wrong side.
Yeah.
But if that didn't happen, Lex was like being a hero. I thought that was very interesting as an arc.
Totally.
Black Adam, I think I always expect it just never to work out, maybe just even on a personality level, but I do think ultimately this experience will have an effect on him that will be largely positive, I think.
Yeah.
Even if he has to part ways with them, I think he comes out better than he went in.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, now we're leaving Instagram and heading on over to Facebook.
Go do the face and the book. Go and do the Facebook.
That's right. First question and only question from Facebook comes from Alex Bant, who asks,
"Help me, I'm bent. I'm so scared that I'm Alex. Get put back together." It's Matchbox 20.
No, I know this song. Alex asks, is Black Adam the Doctor Doom of DC? I mean, he's outgrown the Captain Marvel villain role.
I mean, I think this is also what the other question was talking about a bit, about like a person who like does horrible things on behalf of their nation, right? Because Doctor Doom has Latveria.
Yeah.
And I get where the question is going. I think the thing is Black Adam is not... I think Doctor Doom, though complex, is still ultimately a villain. And I'm not sure Black Adam is. And I think that's the main difference. So you're right in the sense that, you know, he has kind of outgrown just being in the stable of Shazam or Captain Marvel adversary. He's a bigger, kind of more, you know, DC level character, right? He has graduated to that 100%. But I don't think you can equate him to Doom, because ultimately, like, Doom is also like a cosmic threat.
Yeah.
You know, he'll tamper with reality. He'll like, get me the cosmic cube, shit like that. Black Adam has none of those aspirations. Black Adam is pretty grounded, you know, in the way that we talk about the rogues being like, they just want another score. Black Adam largely is just like, I just want Kahndaq. I want it to be fine. I don't even need to rule it. I just need it to be fine.
Yeah.
I need it to be good, and I can protect it. His aspirations are relatively small considering his power. So I think the Doctor Doom comparison falls apart relatively quickly, other than the very kind of surface level thing of people who, generally speaking, quote unquote, have the interests of their people at heart while they're doing horrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
First question comes from Greg Fine.
Oh, you're so fine, Greg.
Damn, Greg. Damn.
You're
fine.
Fine, Greg.
You're so fat. Pretty hot and tempting.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'd give you a fine, but Black Adam outlawed ticketing. And I saw what happened to the last guy.
Yeah, not worth it.
No.
Someone call ISIS.
It's the ISIS signal.
Yeah. Look, ice is good. Greg asks, can you explain the difference between Teth-Adam and Teth-Adam?
Oh, fuck. Right. So, okay. Teth-Adam is Black Adam. That's the one that was alive in like ancient times.
Yes.
Who's chosen or steals, you know, the power of the wizard Shazam, depending on your continuity, and is locked away or banished. That's Black Adam, is Teth-Adam. Teth-Adam was this, Black Adam had been killed or something, or I can't remember the whole setup. And then Teth-Adam was like a descendant or like a distant, you know, cousin in the modern day who finds like an amulet or something, and he ends up like possessed by the spirit of Black Adam. He said he could say Shazam and he becomes Black Adam, but it like takes him over or whatever.
Oh, okay.
There's a sort of thing with Teth-Adam there. I think in the current series, I think they're just using Theo as him taking a modern name. Mm-hmm. Instead of going by Teth-Adam, he goes by Theo when he's not.
Yeah, sure.
But Teth-Adam was like a distinct thing, and eventually it's the thing that comes immediately before his turn with the JSA. He basically, Teth-Adam, that component of it disappears. He becomes Teth, I think, again. Even if it's just like his full persona has taken over the body or something. Teth-Adam kind of is out of the picture by the time he goes to the JSA. Because that time with Teth-Adam is like, he's villain mode. Something happened. I'm super muddy on that thing.
Yeah.
But something in there, Teth-Adam is this kind of interim period between the original Black Adam having died and then kind of coming back via like a possession sort of thing, and then basically becoming Teth-Adam again. Through that JSA thing, Infinite Crisis, 52, the Black Adam series, World War III, et cetera, et cetera.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to mention, because I don't think I talked about it, I mentioned that they do eventually depower Adam during World War III and stop him, and they change his word of power.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
But what they change it to, because through his series, there's a 6-issue series kind of right after that. Oh, yeah, I guess his series comes after World War III, sorry. But through that series, he's just saying words.
Trying to.
As he sees, he's just like table, lamp, shelf, but he's just trying to find the word. And he eventually finds himself in Fawcett City, and he's like, this is the home of the Marvel family. I bet the word is here. And so he just starts saying streets and stuff. And then he wanders into this like malt shop, and he sits down and he's like, what's that? And the guy's like, it's a chocolate egg cream. And he talks about it. And he goes, I'll have one of those chocolate egg cream. And then it's like, like the lightning comes down.
So funny.
And there's this moment where he's sitting there as Black Adam, and he kind of smirks and he goes, Billy, always the boy.
So funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that he kind of accidentally. And then it's funny because he does say he has the ability to change the word, but for some reason he doesn't right away. And when he's working with Felix Faust, they're trying to resurrect ISIS, as an organization.
Yeah.
He's trying to do that, and he has to channel his power, and he goes, chocolate egg cream!
I love that.
The idea of someone that serious having to say this very, like, juvenile thing is very funny. Yeah.
That's great. Next question comes from Felicia, who asks, what do you think of Black Adam being more of a champion for Kahndaq? Do you think it was earned? Also, do they do a good job of world building, or do you wish there was more?
I mean, in general, and I think we've kind of already touched on this, I prefer him in the sort of protector role to the actual, like, ruler role. It's actually a thing that works for Aquaman, too, like, Mira became queen for a bit, and he's just there. He has all this kind of, like, rank and respect to that because he's who he is, but he's more like the protector of Atlantis.
Yeah, he had to make her queen so that they could get married.
Wait a minute, I'm the king. Is this a trick?
I'll make you the king, and then you can...
yeah. Oh, God, that fucking story. But, like, that works, too. And now that Mira dissolved the monarchy, there's sort of they're both kind of in that position. It's like, we're your protectors. We're not your rulers.
Yeah.
And I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
And actually, frankly, Diana is in that position too, because Hippolyta dies, but Nubia is the queen of the Amazons.
Sure.
Diana isn't like the protector of they don't need her to protect them.
I mean,
but she's their emissary, right?
Yeah,
so again, they're in this position where it's like, yeah, Diana was the princess. Theoretically, she should be the queen, but she's not suited to it. She doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And so Nubia being the queen is a great way to keep that character important. And then Diana is like their emissary in man's world, and like the kind of the representative that way. It's funny actually that is becoming the position for a lot of these characters is to like, we aren't the rulers. We shouldn't.
Also, how can I like save things and properly rule?
That's the number one source of tension in a lot of Aquaman stories is like, how do I balance being a king and a surface hero?
It's like, don't. Yeah.
And it always is, you don't.
Yeah.
But him being the protector makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so I think that the same thing applies to Black Adam, and I think that's the best position for him. As far as the world building goes, I'm not sure if we're talking about the movie or the comics, but in general, I don't really get the sense that we explore like Kahndaq as a culture in the way that we don't really explore like Markovia or Vladova or most of these places. We learn enough that they go, like, we know what their accent would sound like.
Sure.
That's about it. You know, like,
jeez.
Like that's true though. We don't really.
Yeah, we know what our food would smell like.
I think, probably in a random story, someone says like, "Oh, it's a Kahndaqi holiday" or whatever. But like, we're not really tracking it.
Sure,
it's not like.
I mean, somebody is, but yeah.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, it's Jaffe. But but you know what I mean. So the world building of that, I think, is pretty limited. I think the movie does a good job of like putting you in the environment, though. Like we talk about it on the double, which if you're not signed up, go listen to on the Patreon. But like, I do think that the movie does a good job of you knowing exactly where you are at all times, and really giving you a sense of like the community of the city. I actually think that's something the movie succeeds in. So that bit's pretty good. But, like the position of Kahndaq globally, like geopolitically, like these other things have been answering. It's pretty vague.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of world building about Kahndaq other than that's Black Adam's spot.
Totally.
There's not a ton,
All right. Next question comes from Truth, Justice, and Hope, who asks, has any effort been made to bring back Isis and Osiris? And if not, do you think they should be brought back? Do you think Isis should get brought back?
I think Isis should be brought back.
Yeah, I think
don't clip that.
They had the wrong they got the wrong side of the stick, and
yeah.
People got the wrong idea about ISIS.
Hashtag uncancel ISIS.
Hashtag ISIS was right.
Good Lord. So in the New 52, we haven't really seen Isis and Osiris, to my knowledge, as like powered characters.
Oh, okay.
But you do see Adriana and Amon in that they are the ones that release Black Adam. Like they find his tomb. They like they're the ones that get him out, I think.
Sure.
Well, them and Dr. Savannah, I think. I'm getting confused now slightly, but like some
Dr. Savannah.
Some combination.
You don't say.
But yeah, I mean, so many continuity shifts and stuff have happened since then, even. I do think I think generally we're meant to assume that, all the other stuff has happened already, but I don't think there's a reason for them not to be back. Osiris came back to life during Brightest Day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they should come back. I think there should be an effort put into that, because even if the thing doesn't work out with Black Adam on the Justice League, it would be great to see that kind of Black Marvel family, to see him pursuing a more heroic path, even his own way. You know what I mean? Maybe he's never cut out for the real bright and shiny hope of the Justice League, but it'd be great for him to do that. And part of the setup of that is that his family helps him feel like that's the right path and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I'd be cool with them coming back. But no, there hasn't been like a special effort to bring them back. I haven't even really clocked them in the current Black Adam series that's happening. So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Chris Chan, our favorite religious representative.
All right.
Who asks, Sandman, Vandal Savage, Hobgaddling, each has learned different lessons having lived for centuries.
Right.
What has Teth-Adam learned?
Right. So obviously Morpheus, we know who he is. Vandal Savage, immortal caveman.
Yeah.
Hobgaddling is the guy that Sandman meets up with every 100 years at the same tavern as part of their like wager that at some point he'll want to die.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Part of that story in particular is, you see Hob go like, yeah, things are great. I'm making a ton of money. I'm in the slave trade. And Morpheus is like, that's pretty fucked up. And then the next time you see him, he goes like, yeah, that was fucked up what I did. Oh, man, when you live this long, you see the repercussions of your actions and stuff like that. And sometimes he's very wealthy, and sometimes he's poor, and sometimes he bounces back. And
that's interesting.
So he gets the full experience of humanity actually over time, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does Teth-Adam learn? I mean, here's the thing. A lot of that time is spent either flying through space.
Yeah, 5,000 years.
Or just being trapped.
Yes.
So he actually doesn't
learn a lot.
Not in the way you would expect for someone as old as him. Because most of that time is, even if it's not literal stasis, it's like emotional stasis. He's not,
he knows he's been traveling.
He's not been wandering the earth for 5,000 years and like taking in culture or learning.
No, he's been flying, and man, are his arms tired.
Take my wife. No, really.
Yeah.
So interestingly, despite being immortal, Teth-Adam is essentially, he's still on the journey he was on as if he hadn't been banished or whatever. Like what is that period of time? 20 years, 30 years, something like that. Like emotionally, I think that's his growing time. Even if you say he was like awake or whatever while imprisoned, you could imagine he's just sort of stuck in stewing. I think he's kind of stalled out. So I don't think he has the same trajectory as those other characters. He's not experiencing his own life through time the way they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the last question, which means we are leaving Twitter and heading it over to Reddit,
where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
That is correct. And the last question is from Sage Tandara, who asks,
Sage Tandara.
What?
I was going to sing Save Tonight, but then it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Eagle Eye Cherry.
Sure. Fight the break of dawn, come tomorrow.
ISIS will be gone. Oh, man.
I feel like I'm in grade 9.
Great track.
Yeah.
Dope album.
Very.
Yeah.
All right. Sage asks, how often does it come up that Adam has a Shazam acronym as well? I vaguely remember it from a story, but I don't hear it as often as the Captain Marvel acronym.
Yeah, so Black Adam does have...
like each letter represents...
Each letter represents a thing. And they represent the same things.
Yeah.
Like the same qualities.
Sure. But the names are different.
I know we've talked about, Billy sometimes has gotten powers from other gods and he gets different powers.
Yeah.
Black Adam and Billy have the same powers. They don't fall in under the same letters, but
sure,
they're all there and they all spell Shazam. So Black Adam has the stamina of Shu, the swiftness of Heru or Horus, the strength of Ammon, the wisdom of Zehuti, the power of Aton, and the courage of Mehen. These are Egyptian gods.
Zehuti and the Blowfish?
Wow. Wow. I only want to be with Shu.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
You can call me Ammon. I only want to be with Shu.
Fuck yeah. Thank you.
I was trying to see if I could do one more, but
okay. So acronym.
Yeah, so it's Shazam still.
Yeah. They stand for.
I just said them all.
Oh, yeah, Zehuti and the Blowfish.
Yeah, Shu, Heru, Ammon, Zehuti, Aton, and Mehen. So they're Egyptian gods rather than mostly Greek, but also Solomon.
Yes. Nice.
But they covered the same bases, basically. I can't remember the reason for it other than I think it's just like the era. Like,
yeah,
there is a sort of like with like these old gods, these pantheons, they do kind of have like their time.
Yeah.
And I think like the ancient Egypt is like pre-Olympians.
Yeah.
They're all implicated. They all have their creation stories. It's this weird like don't ask, don't tell of which one is right, because they all kind of have to exist concurrently. That was a weird thing.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know how I feel. I mean, no, I do know how I feel about
Whoa, easy.
Don't clip
There's good people on both sides.
Don't clip that. Fuck. ISIS is good. The final episode of the Kahndaq podcast. But yeah, I think that it's because of like the era. Essentially, we're in ancient Egypt times, not ancient Greek times. So he gets those things. But yeah, it's like the wizard. I think in the initial, I can't remember if it's the initial thing or like a pre-Flashpoint era.
Yeah.
The wizard wanted to give him his powers. He was like looking for someone to inherit his power, but then for some reason he gets the Egyptian god's powers instead. I can't remember fully what it is, but there's some reason for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even in the modern day, they both say Shazam, but they're getting their powers from different sources. And it's important actually because during World War III, when they can't stop him, Captain Marvel goes to the Egyptian pantheon and says, take his powers from him.
Wow.
He's like, I'm begging you. And they're like, no, we believe in what he's doing.
Wow.
And he's like, well, shit. And that's when he goes to Zatanna and they come up with this plan to change the word of power and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like his Black Adam's patrons kind of like his ruthlessness and stuff like that. So, the Egyptian gods are a little more testy that way. We even see that when we talk about like the Bana Migdal, which is that tribe of Amazons that left Themyscira and forsook the Greek pantheon and sort of gets adopted by the Egyptian pantheon.
Yeah.
Like their patrons are a little tougher, angrier, harder to please kind of thing. The Egyptian gods are sort of portrayed as very fickle and brutal and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was the last question. But we are not done.
Holy shit.
It's time to play everybody's favorite game very quickly because we got to go soon.
Oh, no, we're good. We're good on time.
Can you guess the name of the character based on someone who's not read comic books can describe that character to us?
Yeah, baby.
You know how it's played. I send an image of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books, nor does she care for them. She sends back 4 clues describing what she sees, and the doctor never gets it right. So let's see if we can do it.
Sometimes get it.
Yeah, with a lot of coaxing and clues. All right, here we go.
You look at me and
I was waiting for it. I can feel it.
you got nothing left to say.
All I want you.
I just want to love you, but you want to wear my Horace. Sometimes I'm crazy.
No.
I don't wonder why. I'm such a baby man. Zahooty make me cry.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I zahoot.
Oh,
Fuck. All I want to be with you.
This album is coming one day. That's just how
We've made a lot of parody songs.
I know.
We got to track them. If anyone out there just wants to track how many kind of ideas we've, there's obviously Thon song.
Yeah. God, so
I only want to be with Shu. It's great. Fight Zahooty in the blow. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
There's 2
other things.
There have been other ones.
There's
I don't remember what they are. If someone wants to track that, we might be at a full album's worth of ideas.
Yeah. If we have a full album's worth,
we'll just drop it one day like Beyonce. We won't have talked about it.
No, we'll do it midnight and then we'll add 4 more tracks and then do that at 3 a.m.
Yeah. We're great at doing stuff last minute, actually.
As long as I don't delete them. All right. 4 clues.
Don't remind me.
First clue. Are you ready?
Yes.
No color inks wasted on this character.
Oh, Silver Banshee.
No.
Necron.
No.
Black Hand. Dr. Light.
No.
The other Dr. Light.
No.
Okay. Next clue.
Yeah. Why would I say Dr. Light no and then be like the other Dr. Yes.
I don't know. You always look for your fucking little weasel loopholes.
Okay. Sounds like somebody who's maybe not great with losing so much lately. Next clue.
I'm fine with it if it's fair.
Oh yeah, sure. Next clue, high-waisted panties.
Cool.
Nicest.
Shadow Lass.
No.
Next clue.
Third clue, Devil Lock Mohawk.
Devil Lock?
That's what it says.
The fuck is a devil lock?
I don't know.
It's probably a thing I could never know.
Oh, I think it might be like that haircut from the guy from the Misfits.
That doesn't know me, but
okay.
Devil Lock Mohawk. Okay, all right. No color inks wasted on this character.
Yeah.
And sorry, high waist panties.
Yeah.
Is it no, it's not. It's not Lord Deathman or Flatline or...
Nope.
Give me the last clue.
Final clue.
Okay.
Zebra pattern.
We've already been... I've got a problem with the clues all being about the colors.
Wow.
They're kind of not 4 clues.
I mean, the mohawk's not about the color. The panties are not about the color.
Is it Zebra Man?
It's Zebra Man. It's also zebra pattern's a pattern, not a color.
You can call me Amon. I only want to be with you.
That was it for this week.
Oh, I'm tangled up, Zehud.
If you were able to guess Zebra Man, or you want to send in a question for next week's episode.
Yeah, an episode I definitely have thought of a theme for.
Cool, can't wait for that.
You'll see it when I post it.
At our Facebook.
Dr. DC Podcast.
On our Twitter.
At Dr. DC.
Possibly through Instagram.
Possibly through Christ. Dr. DC Podcast.
Maybe on our Reddit.
Yeah, pray to us.
Yeah, maybe on our Reddit.
/Dr_DC.
You could send us an email.
DrDCPodcast gmail.com.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, DrDCPodcast gmail.com.
I said at.
You can always send us a voicemail.
Yeah, 208-917-3238.
208-917-DCEU.
If you're nasty.
You can't send questions here, but you can check us out on TikTok.
Yeah, Dr. DC.
You can read some content that we've got on our website.
DrDCPodcast.com.ca.
Or link your way into our merch.
Yeah, link your way in.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Use the interwebs.
I've got a link.
Yeah, you can buy our merch.
Yeah, buy our merch.
Also, why don't you give us a 5-star review like Robin did in the beginning of this episode, and we will read in our future episode of the show. While you're on that platform, why don't you subscribe, because that helps us out,
baby.
Also, you can send us physical mail. I don't know if anybody's done that in a while, but.
And you won't. 301 Hogue Street, Hoge Street in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, Y1A1V8. You can send that to either Richard Eden or Reed Vanya. It all comes back to my place. No, that's not true.
I'm like, what's the address for my new building?
No.
7
goes to our building.
7
the
Rondell.
Building I have no asset stake in.
Yeah.
But our building.
Of course.
Yeah. Like everything else where you own it and I basically just pretend it's mine.
It's like we're married.
Well, maybe if someone would fucking man up, we could be.
5 years. Also,
it's because I keep talking about ISIS, isn't it?
I mean, you said it, not me.
They're in my vows.
The relationship will have the strength.
I have an ISIS-related vow.
If you want to get some extra content, you can subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, patreon.com/DrDC. Mm-hmm. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Discord, our awesome fan community.
Angel Radio.
I did. And at the higher levels, you get bonus episodes, you get theme pools, all sorts of fun stuff that helps to support us.
But if you want to get on Angel Radio, you should start listening to our other podcast, Ghostfacers. Yeah,
Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. Mm-hmm. We are partway through season 6. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. And there's a $1 Patreon for that. It's patreon.com/Ghostfacers. And that gets you on Angel Radio, the other Discord.
Yeah, start listening.
A vastly different expence from the Dr. DC Discord.
Vastly. Yeah. Get on there quick before we are done the series.
Yeah. Which is soon?
Yeah. Yeah, it's only 5 years from now. That's it for this week.
Adios.
Ciao.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.